In city planning strategies, a lot of attention is paid to the setting. Where exactly to build your dream city? The choice is great. The Middle Ages, antiquity, modernity, or even fictional worlds of the future and fantasy universes. Residents can also be different, from ordinary peasants to soulless robots. The developers from an independent studio, Machinistry, decide to show off their originality. In their debut project Timberborn, which has arrived on Steam Early Access, everything is run by beavers. Dams and dams, logging on industrial scale and changing the landscape. It sounds tempting, but is there enough content in this early access for an interesting and comfortable game? Timberborn is a classic urban strategy game, even too standard at first glance. At the beginning we have only one building and a dozen residents. The player's task is to build a huge city populated by hundreds of beavers. To be precise, there is no specific goal here. Entertain yourself, which is also within the framework of the genre, in which the main thing is the process, not the result. Although the protagonists in Timberborn are beavers. Once upon a time, this world belongs to humans, but for a unknown reason, humanity became extinct. But the little tree-hungry lovers remain. Of the former greatness of people are only reminded by the ruins of cities that can be found on the map and can be dismantled for parts. Beavers will be useful and iron. Iron thieves are more inclined to metal, one of the two currently available fractions. They do not reproduce naturally, unlike beavers from Tales of the World, but grow new inhabitants in hatcheries, and in general are more technology advanced. For example, they have an engine that runs on firewood. Wood is a premier here. It's the main building resource for both fractions. Beavers chop trees into logs, and from them they already make all the other materials: boards, wooden gears, and paper. A rather spare set of production chains, but you can write that off to early access. It's the same story with food: wild berries, 3 kinds of crops, and their building to process them: a grill and a mill and a bakery. That's it. Food is necessary both for the banal survival of the inhabitants and to meet their needs for variety of diet. It gives possible effects such as increased strength or increased speed of carrying object. There are other needs: communication, spirituality, comfort, more than 10 in all. However, it doesn't make much sense to maintain them at high level. Beavers do their job as it is. There would be food and, most importantly, water. Water plays a huge role in the life of settlement. The fact is that at the end of each temporal cycle there comes a drought, rivers and reservoirs, from which inhabitants can water for drinking, gradually become shallow, and in the end they are dried up completely. 30 beavers die very quickly, so it is better to stock up in advance. You can build special barrels for storage, which do not care about drought. And for this purpose, it is necessary to establish the production of materials and to provide a sufficient number of workers, who in turn need something to eat and somewhere to live. It seems to be nothing new, because the fight against natural disaster as a stimulus for the development of the settlement is a standard sign of the genre. Another interesting thing, water in Timberborn is full-fledged physical object, not just a numerical design of the resource reserves. For example, rivers have a current, so drought is not just the dissolval of tiles of liquid in bodies of water, but the gradual cessation of water movement along with the reduction of its level to zero. Although beavers haven't thought of hydroelectric power plants yet, the simplest mechanical source of energy, like a water wheel, are used to their fullest extent, and without water flow they become useless. It is the stop page of the flow that threatens the production, not the switching of the drought script to their own position. You should be prepared for this in advance. Do not forget about alternative energy sources, such as wind turbines and special wheels powered by the muscular power of the inhabitants. Water for drinking, however, can be stored on an industrial scale and without any resort of wood standing on the storm. How to do it? Of course, by building dams, dikes, and flies. We have a strategy about beavers, which are known to be great masters of erecting such structures. We dam the stream, rise water level. Now short-term drought is not terrible. The river simply does not have time to dry up. Dams are dynamic sticks, can be used to create a new channel or even an artificial reservoir. Thermophobic intermittent is fun. Too bad the game itself doesn't encourage it. If you don't think up a particularly clever task, such as dig a huge pit in the middle of the map and make it to a lake with waterfalls, then there is no need to change the landscape and the flow of rivers. A couple of dams easily eliminate the problem of water supply, and apart from thirst in time of drought, your beavers here are not threatened by anything. But things could have been much more interesting if the main danger here were not droughts but on the contrary floods. Then you would have to plan your base construction more carefully. For example, damming crops on the plains and moving fields to high ground where the flood would not reach, or changing the flow of the river to prevent houses from being flooded and water wheels from being blown away by the swift current. None of this available yet, but we should not forget the strategy is only at early stage of development. By the release perhaps it will be added. In any case, the authors are making far-reaching plans for development of the project. At the moment, Timberborn cannot be called a full-fledged urban simulator. Yes, there are basic elements of gameplay inherited in genre, but the current version is more like a demonstration of engine. All the content can be seen in a few hours. There are no special challenges for the player yet, and training yourself with aimless trampling will quietly get bored. Nevertheless, the strategy is clearly worth waiting for the release. The concept that developers want to bring to life has very tempting prospects. Thank you.